All right, all right. Are you ready, baby? Are you ready? Are you ready? Is this microphone on? Are you ready? I'm so excited to be here with you, family, my beloved. Let's get into the spiritual sweet spot. Yes, let's jump in here so we can get a cleansing. Let's wash our souls. Oh, I'm so excited. Feel that energy. Feel that water energy. Feel that cleansing water energy. Let's dive deep. Let our souls dive deep into this cleansing. I am so ready. Let's shake the shoulders off. Shake the shoulders. Come on. Loosen them up. Loosen them up. Let's take in a deep breath. Deep breath with me now. Deep breath with me. Wait a minute. Is this microphone on? Let's take in a deep breath with me. 1, 2, 3. Take it in. Inhale. Exhale. Feel that coming from your gut. Feel that coming from your internal higher self. I'm so excited. Now, do me a favor. Roll down that window or pull that window open. We need to flicker some of this energy off. I know I need to get out of here. Get some of that energy out. Get some of that energy you do not want on you out. Flick it out. Flick it out that window. Yes, baby. Flick it out. Yep. Close that window. Close that window. All right. We are focusing on new energy. New energy. That is our mantra today. New energy, baby. I am so excited to be here with you all. Global audience, thank you so much. This is the spiritual sweet spot, and we're getting ready to get in here into that center. I would say the epicenter of the soul. I know I have my Florida water. Let's spray some Florida water in the atmosphere. Do you know they also make sage spray? Let's get that spray too if you got sage spray. I still use the old white sage, smoke it out, but I'm going to do some Florida water in here. Spray. Let's get some spray. Refuse, infuse. Let's get that aroma going, baby. I got to feel my soul. I got to just feel that. Feel that energy. Let's come on, feel some of this energy right here. All right, let's get ready. Are you ready? Let's get into today's message. I'm so excited that you are all here with me today, and I'm getting ready. Alrighty. I'm so excited, family. I am so excited. So real quick, I said as we celebrate August, guys, August is our year. Our podcast year. Please celebrate. Help me in the celebration of our podcast turning a year, all because of you are wonderful, amazing humans. Hello. Anyways, guys, so on in this month, we're going to do some stuff that's creative and also going forward, right? Just keep your girl up in prayers. Just, you know what I mean? When you meditate and all this good stuff, just think about me. Send good energy my way and positive energy my way as well. Thank you. Only because, I'm so excited to just revamping and kind of trying to not 100% like redo, but just spice things up a little. That comes from the last message that Spirit had impressed in my heart. So now, speaking of Spirit, here goes Spirit. Spirit is like, let's talk about battle between good and evil. And all right, so for some of you that have been listening to the podcast, and if you are new, welcome. Share the podcast links to family, friends, foe, and loved ones. And maybe enemies if you got enemies. Just kidding. But anyway, so, Spirit was like, let's talk about battle between good and evil. And there's something that I want to share with you all. You know how I do. Sharing in just moderation, guys, as I acclimate and get comfortable with sharing my life with you as well. And that's the introvert in me. And just like, always being alone on most of my life. I had acquaintances, but listen, I digress. Who's got the violin? Okay, so Spirit was like, let's talk about the podcast battle between good and evil. If you have, and I'm going to put a little snippet towards the end, but if you have not had a chance to listen to this podcast, scroll down all the way down to the podcast. It's a Saturday spiritual sweet spot recording, and it's called Battle Between Good and Evil. And when Spirit had laid it on my heart at that time to share that message with you, it also, when Spirit lays stuff in my heart, it resonates with me. I was seeing what Spirit was talking about. And then this time around, because some of these messages, if not all, are timeless, depending on the where you are in life, and what's going on with your energies at that time. You could relate to the message in that moment, or maybe even 5 months, a year, or 2 years from now. But Spirit say, let's talk about battle between good and evil. And you all, if you recall, when I did battle between good and evil, I was a little bit nervous only because when Spirit puts a very heavy message in my heart that correlates, when Spirit puts a very heavy message in my heart, in my waking state, that correlates the series of dreams that I'd had. And the series of dreams that I'd had will probably, listen, don't hold me to it. The class is growing. We're taking baby steps. But there's a part of my life when it comes to my personal dreams that I tend to shy away from. So ever since I was able to do dream interpretations for myself and to receive dreams and visions from the spiritual dream realm, I seldom share them with people, and seldom is even just really putting, like, there's a lot. I barely shared this information with people. Perhaps a part of me was just a little bit scared, didn't know how people would receive it. I probably in a lifetime have told 2 people about certain dreams, and what I did at that time was just kind of tell them about the dream that I had, and I was kind of scared to even do the interpretation for them. And these were close people that I knew. However, so some of the dreams that I definitely don't, perhaps I journal them, write them down, do the interpretation. Sometimes I have a clear understanding when I wake up. It's the global dreams, or dreams that affect Earth itself and so forth. So those, I don't know, guys. We'll see. Let's take baby steps, right? She's opening up slowly. But when Spirit laid the battle between good and evil in my waking life, in my heart, I'd had a series of dreams that were affecting the nation. Not necessarily this time around globally, but it was affecting the nation. And at that time, when I did the battle between good and evil, I wanted to keep it as general as it can, because you all forgive me. I'm also learning. I'm also growing and being open to sharing with the public dream interpretations and or my personal dreams, I should say. So at that time when Spirit had given me that message, battle between good and evil, I didn't want to scare the masses. I really just wanted the message to come out and be received. So now Spirit is revisiting battle between good and evil, because as timeless as that message was, when I was moved to bring that message in my waking realm, hearkening back to the series of episodes of dreams that I had at that moment that were events that were happening in the nation before they were happening. And so everything was linking up, especially when that message came about in my waking life. And so I've just come back to drop this and say, listen to battle between good and evil. And I'm going to top it off with just a few sentences for the battle between good and evil. I'm going to put a snippet at the end of this podcast, but you all, as you understand, right? Remember, life is living in faith every day. And one of the things, of course, that I always encourage, right? We take it day by day, absolutely day by day. But in the message battle between good and evil, the message itself was it was triple or quadruple fold. But the main basis of the message to the human race is just to raise yourself in a higher consciousness, awareness, if you are not, taking care of yourself, your spirit, mind, body, and soul, and just listening during meditation to your higher self as well. I believe this is imperative. Not just necessarily to get closer to your core, but to also understand the shift. And so the battle between good and evil was also an action call as a human race to flow in a higher frequency, a high vibration, and to have an awareness / consciousness. To be aware is to be conscious. To be conscious is to be aware. And so to vibrate and float in a high frequency so that you will discern, so that your soul can understand what's going on around us, right? And when you check out the battle between good and evil, the underlying messages of it all, or perhaps the bark to the tree before it branches off, is questioning everything with a question. Questioning everything with a question. And not to doubt yourself. Don't think you're crazy. Don't think, is it just me? Sometimes you're going to find yourself among friends or family members and you think differently, because perhaps you are vibrating higher, or your awareness is higher. And I'm not saying family, friends, and foes are not. I'm just saying sometimes when you really isolate yourself and seek your higher self, I've been in those moments where things just seem like you see the things, but not everybody sees the same thing. And so follow your messages, follow your heart, follow your soul. And so like I said, the bark of the tree before it branched off to the messages was leaning into your heart's compass, right? Understanding that just understanding and questioning everything with a question, everything that's presented to you, everything that's said, everything that even sometimes it's nice to take a reevaluation of your beliefs. I have changed my beliefs about 2-3 times. Because the first time around in my life, I grew up in a home where we were being dropped off at a church, and it was my dad's church, and the church was on Saturdays. And then when I grew a little bit, not older, but probably like 14, my mom was going to a certain church, and that was on Sundays, went there with her. And then later on in life, I kind of removed myself from the church part, but when I was living by myself from the ages of about 21, but about 26 or so, 27, 26, I found a church, went back into the church. I was there for about 9 years, and then came that questioning everything with a question for me personally. This is my spiritual journey. Then I kind of stepped back. So my beliefs over the years have definitely changed, and definitely changed. And so, but that just comes from stemming with questioning everything with a question. And I'm not saying that society, listen, I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. Nobody's responsible. But I feel like you've always heard my message saying that sometimes I think there's an expectation in society for all of us to go along with everything that's being said or what's being done. And because everybody's in the flow of it, there's very few questions being asked. And because there are very few questions being asked, things are happening. I was actually, what's funny is about 3 weeks ago, I forgot who I was talking to, and I was talking to them that, sometimes, and listen, I'm still a work in progress. I'm not making fun of anybody, but I'm using this as an example, that I'm always amazed that, we have done things in life that are tradition, or just because that's what we do as a family, or that's what we've always done, but never really understood the background to it. And then in my mind, I'm like sitting back thinking, well, why do we have to do it like that? Who started it and why? And it goes deeper than with me into society, not just either family little traditions and so forth or superstitions. Then be like, well, why do we have to do that and why? And what's the basis of that? Where is this coming from? So, it comes a time where, and I've always mentioned to you all about the things that we watch, being careful of the medias that we use to watch, the mediums we use to watch and put in our body, into our mind, into our soul, and always being aware and paying attention. Because I realized, especially for me growing up, I always watched television, and it wasn't until I was older. And then I always watched television. And then even at the times that when I left the house, when I was at the house, all my dad ever did was watch CNN. And then even at the time when I left the house and I was living by myself, what did I do? The tradition I'm talking about, like you just follow what perhaps your family's done. And that's what I did. Listen to CNN news all the time. And then it came to a part when I started my spiritual journey where I realized some of these mediums I was listening to were not healthy for me. That's my personal journey and take on that. And so what I ended up doing, as I was living by myself for years, I stopped the cable. And then I was, listen, you just grow and learn, right? For years that I lived by myself, I had a full package of cable, but I stayed gone. I was always busy. So it wasn't like could have that moment to actually binge watch or, really watch stuff on that, the cable. So it wasn't until probably later on, after probably between 26, 27, where I said to myself, why am I paying $150 a month in a cable bill that I'm not even using? And at that time I was probably watching 1 or 2 channels. So I discontinued my cable. And when I discontinued my cable, that means the news was gone. I'm not waking up and the first thing I'm watching is news reading. I'm not going to sleep and the last thing I'm watching is news. So I got that out of the system. and then moved along with it. And back at that time, I remember my coworkers were like, "You don't watch the news?" No, I don't watch the news. And they're like, "How do you get your weather report?" But smartphones were out. There were apps. You could find weather without having to find the news. And then low key, like I wasn't like one of those people that wake up and be like, "What's the weather today?" Like I've never been. I just wing it. Like I'm like, it's summertime, right? So it's probably gonna be hot. So I'm gonna go out here, and yes, I'm one of those people that probably end up at an event without an umbrella and stuff like that. Like, oh, I didn't know it was gonna rain today. But listen, the winging it has worked phenomenal when it comes to the weather. Whatever, you survive. But my point being is what do you say? I felt so light, better. It took a while, of course, with any habit, not having to. This was the first time in my entire life of living not to have television. I didn't even have basic cable. I just shut it off. Just done. Period. And so now when I came home, it was quieter, but I spent, what I found, even though it's awkward at first, but I found that what I started doing more was staying at bookstores, half-price books and so forth, and racking up on books and or like out and about Starbucks or the library writing. So that became my thing. So every time I came home, I sit by my desk and write, or just read. If I wanted to watch a movie back then, before before Amazon Fire Stick could say that. But before all of that, back then I would go to the McDonald's had a dollar DVD rental. So weekends, if I wanted to watch a movie, I would just go and check out what was going on for $1. But here's the thing, right? Bottom line being is, I'm not asking or telling people go and be so radical or dramatic in any changes of your life. It's baby steps. Do what works for you. Some people are very disciplined in the art that, I got cable. I don't even need to turn my TV on. And I have, the greatest admiration for you. For me, it was like a pointless bill, but at the same time, I felt liberated as well. And then I realized that I didn't have to watch that news and all that, the stuff they were feeding. And the longer I stayed away, it was so weird that even when I went and visited people and we trying to watch a show or movie or something, and you've been away from shows or TV for a long time, it's kind of like, because it's like I was kind of antsy. I was sitting there thinking, okay, what I need to do next, because it already felt like I was wasting time sitting here watching the show. But like I said, it doesn't have to be radical, dramatic, etc. It's just an example of the things that we allow our eyes to see, for our mind to take in, and for our souls to digest, right? So harkening back to Battle Between Good and Evil podcast is just simply saying, while you are going along your everyday path, it's okay to question everything with a question. Everything. I've always, with my younger siblings, I've often said to them that you have to, the jejune mind could be the fact that sometimes people may think, oh, that's my professor, they know everything, I can question this part or ask about this part. No, you could go and ask. Nobody listen, some people may think they know everything, and you cannot tell them anything, and that's okay, that's their life. But as an individual, you are entitled to always questioning everything with a question. It's not phonetically correct, but that's the way you put it in your mind, that you are going to question with a question everything or anything or information. Because I realize that in the digital era, we have so many mediums that are producing at a very fast rate, all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're 24 hours here, and so in this nation. And so the thing is, everything that you are watching, eating up, absorbing, is it right for your psyche? Is it right? Is it valid? I mean, what's going on? What are we growing from this information? Because I feel that Spirit wanted me to take a life pause and revisit this battle between good and evil, and listen to the entire message in its entirety, so that I don't regurgitate everything that was said in the battle between good and evil like I could even remember it. I just know that the essence was coming from, in my soul, the essence was coming from battle between good and evil, and understanding that you're using your consciousness in this time and period to question everything with a question. I love you all so much. Stay blessed. And here's a snippet. And once again, scroll down to the podcast, find Battle Between Good and Evil. And one thing I should not do, which I always say, is not to judge the outcome. But I was like, well, this is a conscious community. I mean, they're woke. You know, they know what's going on. But, I was like, no. Because then the message just kept coming heavy and heavy and heavy on my heart, in my soul, in my mind, and consuming me. And I felt really guilty if I don't say anything. Okay, so I do apologize for making such an assumption. So this is going to be a quick video, different video, an urgent message to all that have ears to hear this message. I love you guys so much, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. But like I say, the message should have been intended for before the year was over. But 2020 had just been such a crazy, crazy, crazy year, right? So I said, let's just start on a whole new fresh page. And I'll dabble this topic in February. But I was like, okay, waking up to it, going to sleep to it, So, okay. So this is an urgent message. Okay. First and foremost, what I don't want to do is scare anyone. Okay. I don't want to scare anyone. It's just a message. Okay. So most of you, maybe, perhaps, have had the time to see in the times in which we're living. And when I say to see, I'm now talking and referencing whether you believe seeing in the spiritual realm in your waking life, or believe in seeing in the spiritual realm in your sleeping life, in your sleeping realm, in your dream realm, or in your meditative state in your waking realm, right? These are different times. I think every generation can always say that, right? Every generation can always say, they always have a story of different times and so forth. But I wanted to really just give this plain, urgent message. Do not believe. All right, guys. So the full message is battle between good and evil. Scroll down the podcast. You will find it earlier on between podcast 1 through 10. I love you guys that much. Stay blessed. Life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today. Seize the moment to enjoy each day while en route to your intended destiny. A quote by Memory Ben Gessemer. If no one has told you this today, I love you. I appreciate you. And yes, we can do this thing called